Alright, we are on the play of match 1 of this league with... I don't even know what to call it. Not chart. We're not playing chart a course. Traverse Delver. I was thinking Delirium, but that's obviously not right. Well, I mean, it's technically right, but not really. This hand's a mulligan because we have... I mean, you could... It's not that bad. Fetch, Serum Visions, Goif. It's actually kind of keepable. I don't like having 4 lands. That's something. Other than that, though, this hand's actually really nice. I'm still gonna mulligan it. I don't think it's enough. And we have Basic Mountain in the main deck. This one's a keep. I obviously changed up the list a little bit. Our opponent mulliganed as well. We're going to keep. Turn 1 Delver seems like something I want to do. Ooh, turn 1 Delver into turn 2 Delver isn't so bad. That could be fun. We might even dismember on our second turn as well. Yeah, why not? Put that on top. That could be a fun time. Get aggressive. I'm going to talk about changes I made to the list when we hit the sideboard. Probably. I might start talking about it sooner if it looks like we're going to have to spend a lot of time sideboarding. The opponent has a Steam Vents of their own, and they did nothing. Probably holding up a Bolt effect to take out our Delver, and they're just fishing for information to see if we reveal something. We're not going to. Mountain. Before we play that Delver, we should attack. Cool. They took 1. I am okay with that. Second Delver. Go! And now we wait. I'm assuming one of these Delvers is dead. So we've seen Steam Vents and Lightning Bolt. And Sulphur Falls. That means we're playing against just about any blue-red deck. Sulphur Falls is a lot less common in decks that aren't more controlling. That's a weird way to say that. Sulphur Falls is usually in more controlling decks because they need more lands. Obviously you have a higher curve. We're going to get in here for 3, so that makes me think that we're probably up against some sort of blue-red control deck. If it was Storm, they probably wouldn't bother with this. Do I want to Serum Visions or hold up Stubborn Denial? Probably Serum Visions. Would not mind getting some momentum going. Mana Leak, another Vision's a Snapcaster Mage. Let's bottom the Snapcaster Mage. And holding up Mana Leak actually sounds a little enticing, so I kind of want to bottom this Visions. Yeah, we'll do that. Well, the opponent didn't do anything, so their second turn was wasted. That's excellent. What do we got? Anything we can dismember? Snapcaster Mage. Do I want to dismember that? I'm assuming we're playing against a Breach deck, because I think that's the most common blue-red deck right now. But I don't think we can use that information to a very significant extent. It's also not that relevant. Snapcaster Mage is going to do 2 damage a turn. Dismembering it causes us to take 4 immediately, so it's not like we're saving much life, but at least we get that out of the way early. And this is right about where I wish that mountain was the wooded foothills I replaced it with. Would have really enjoyed playing Hooting Mandrills here, and then holding up Stubborn Denial with the Steam Vents. That would have been a fun time, so that's a data point. Let's all remember the part where in the first game of the first match, having the mountain was bad. Serum Visions. Okay, well the opponent can go land Breach, so I don't really want to cast Serum Visions here. I actually think I should have cast Snapcaster Mage on the end step there to get a bit of a clock going. I'm going to very begrudgingly pass the turn. Doesn't look like we're going to take this game, unless their hand is just really bad. That's possible. Serum Visions is fine, or we top deck a green source and go to town. That also is quite possible. That's a route to victory. Snapcaster Mage probably is not long for this world. Dismember. But at least it's something. If they bolt it, that's one fewer bolt they have. Spell Snare. I'll hold that up. That's fine. So, the basic mountain. I like to have a basic mountain in my 75 for, say, aggro matchups, where sometimes you just want to fetch out a red source that doesn't make you shock. I guess they didn't want to get in a counter war? I'm not sure why they're doing that now. Do I want to counter that bolt? I don't think the Snapcaster Mage is that important to me. I think I'd rather have the Mana Leak up. So, I kind of like having a basic mountain, and I thought, hey, a lot of people play the basic mountain where I have one of my wooded foothills, because you don't need 10 fetch lands. I mean, it's nice to have, but you could certainly live without having 10 fetch lands in your list. Madcap Experiment, now that's interesting. Hopefully they don't have a Spell Snare or anything like that. So I figure let's try putting the basic mountain in the main deck, clear up a sideboard slot. We probably don't need 18 lands. It'll be fine. And then this mountain being exactly a basic mountain may have cost us this game. Let's see what we want to get rid of. I kind of want to keep a creature in the graveyard because we are playing with Traverse the Ulvenwald. Instants are a lot less important because we're probably putting one of those back. I'll tap the mountain because it's not doing a lot. So, because it was exactly basic mountain, it wasn't a blue source. Say, such as Steam Vents, or I guess it would have been Wooded Foothills, but it could get a Steam Vents, or a Breeding Pool. So, because the mountain wasn't a blue source, we had to hold up Mana Leak, which is now exiled, with this Steam Vents, which means we weren't able to get Serum Visions out of our hand to speed us up. That's a bad thing. That cost us turns. That's at least one extra turn, probably two. Let's say at least one, because it was only the 1 Visions, before we hit Mandrills, which means the opponent would be at 7 life right now. That's a pretty big difference, especially if we top deck a Lightning Bolt. Now, if this mountain was a green source, same thing, this Mandrills would have come down sooner. Second Mandrills, well, we can't cast it, so that's 1. 2, even if we could, don't think I would want to. Not unless I could still keep up the Steam Vents. I really want to have Stubborn Denial up right here. If they take out Mandrills, I'm probably going to let it happen. Okay, so they're going to go for Snapcaster Mage and Lightning Bolt. Is that okay? I think that's okay. They're going to take out Mandrills. Mandrills will still bolt them, though, because Snapcaster Mage only has 1 toughness. Trample is great. So they're still going to take 3. Mandrills is going to die. But on the other hand, we have another Mandrills in hand. So our clock is only getting slowed down by a little bit. The tricky thing here is going to be figuring out how to resolve this Mandrills in our hand. Bolt happens. That's fine. They block. Be nice if we had a bolt. That would be a blowout. Yep. They're going to go down to 8, and I kind of want to cast Mandrills. I also kind of don't, because once again, if we let the opponent combo off, we're basically dead. Now that we know they're playing Madcap Experiment, I guess I should talk about that combo. They may or may not be playing Through the Breach and Emrakul as well, but Madcap Experiment basically is going to let them tutor out Platinum Empyrean, which is a big fat artifact creature which says your life total cannot change. So they won't take any damage from Madcap Experiment, and then we're going to have a hard time killing them because their life total can't change. We'll have to top deck Vapor Snag or the Simic Charm that I recently put in the list to finish them off, if they get to resolve a Madcap experiment. So I kind of want to hold up this Stubborn Denial. On the other hand, we're giving them turns, and I really want to resolve this Mandrills soon. If we go for Mandrills, we should cast Serum Visions first, because we might top deck a blue source, but I don't know if I want to go for Mandrills, or... No, holding up Stubborn Denial now is bad because we don't have a Mandrills in play. Good thing I caught that. Talking about stuff's good. We hit a land, bottom top, play this, cast this. They know about the Stubborn Denial in our hand, but that's fine. If they force us to use it, I'll fetch. Otherwise, we get to top deck a Mana Leak, which is great in this kind of matchup. That makes me very glad that I realized Denial was no longer good. Excellent. The opponent casts Blood Moon. That's a problem because that's going to cut us off of blue mana. Pretty sure we should fight that, especially because top decking a Mana Leak with that Blood Moon in play is really bad for us. We definitely have to shock. Breeding Pool or Steam Vents. Second green source isn't great. Third red source isn't really significant either. Now they may very well be able to counter our Stubborn Denial, but we're still going to try. The Denial's going to be pretty worthless with the Blood Moon resolving, so... This could also even be a roast here, using the Blood Moon to get the Denial they knew about out of our hand. Looks like it wasn't. Here's a Serum Visions. Now we have multiple blue sources. Vendilion Click. We can't counter that. That, I assume, is taking our visions. They also might not take anything. Fortunately, Click without the help of a Lightning Bolt effect cannot take out Mandrills. They took visions. We drew a Spell Snare. That could be okay. We're going to get in there. Unfortunately, we no longer have a counter for any of the combo cards they have, or could have. Well, it's not happening yet. Madcap is a sorcery? Yes, it is. Fantastic. They didn't attack because they don't want to die. Foothills isn't relevant, so we're not going to show them that. We're going to attack. If they have a burn spell, Mandrills is going to bite the dust. But on the bright side, they'll be at about 1 life. That's a pretty good bright side. I can roll with that. What do they got? Cryptic Command? That's annoying. Cryptic Command. Bounce Draw? Bounce Draw. Well, at least we get to put Mandrills back down. And in that case, do I want to play this Wooded Foothills? Otherwise, we have to tap out. It's probably worth having Spell Snare up. Now, if we fetch and shock, we get to have both Spell Snares up. Is that good? Is there a scenario in which we need both Spell Snares? Not really. The only 2 CMC card I'm thinking of being a problem is Snapcaster Mage, unless the opponent is in fact playing Roast. Steam Vents, Stomping Ground, it's gotta be Steam Vents. The only question is, do we shock? I don't really want to take much more damage. I'm gonna hope we don't need both Spell Snares. Head over to the opponent. I'm assuming they top-decked the Cryptic Command? Why didn't they attack with the Vendilion Click if they had a Cryptic Command in hand? Even if they top-decked it, their draw step is before combat. So why did they do that? That doesn't make much sense to me. Any ideas? Why did they do that? Maybe just in case we had a counter for the Cryptic? Flooded Strand, that's not great. Well, we can get a basic island. Is it worth showing them the Flooded Strand? Probably not. How scared am I of Blood Moon? I guess at least a little bit? To a non-zero degree? They know about one Spell Snare. I guess I could live with having just the one mystery card in hand, just in case they hit. If they have a burn spell to finish off this Mandrills, and then they play a Blood Moon, I'm going to really want to have played this Flooded Strand. So I'm going to think of the worst case scenario, in which we get locked out of blue mana. That's bad, because there's the burn spell. They finish off Mandrills. If they lock us out of blue mana, Delver is no longer a live draw. And I want just about any threat I can have. Now, do I want to take one to thin the deck ever so slightly? I don't think so. That's not really worth it. What do we got? Mishra's Bauble. That makes cracking the fetch theoretically worth it. We're going to wait because of Vendilion Click. Spell Snare X. That is correct. Spell Snare and X. I imagine they didn't want to hit enter, they were just typing it out. I've seen people do that before. I don't know if I've ever done that. Anyways, we're not cracking Bauble yet, just in case the opponent has another Vendilion Click that they may want to use Draw Step. Actually, we can't really get away from that because Vendilion Click has Flash, and usually that sort of sequencing works best against Sorcery Speed discard spells. So let's take a look at the top card of our deck. It's a Thought Scour. Do I want to draw Thought Scour? Kind of. Thought Scour is a good card. Thought Scour and Traverse. Hey there, Thought Scour being a good card. We don't have any bolts in the graveyard. Savage Knuckleblade is in our deck. Are you guys feeling frisky? Should we go for it? Do we have enough mana? We fetch. Okay. So I'm thinking we crack the fetch, we get an island, we Thought Scour. Hopefully, no, Thought Scour plus the fetch will be 4 card types. We scour, we traverse, we get a Savage Knuckleblade, we cast it, that's 5 mana, and then 1 more for haste. Let's see if this works. Thought Scour us. We also top decked a Lightning Bolt. Okay, so think we're still going to traverse. Don't think I'm going to go for Savage Knuckleblade because we drew a Lightning Bolt. I will take a Tarmogoyf though. Or should I play around the possibility of Spell Snare and get the last Mandrills out? That could be better. Let's do that. I want to make them tap really low if they have an answer. 1, 2, another creature, land, artifact, creature, sorcery, sorcery. The reason I'm not going for the Savage Knuckleblade play, now that we've top-decked Lightning Bolt, is the opponent might have, or they might top-deck Madcap Experiment, and that would be quite bad. Now this is a spot where I might want to Lightning Bolt the opponent's face. Yeah, let's do that. Now that they've tapped a bit low. Cool. Definitely want to do it before they get to draw their card. Just in case they do find a counterspell that we can't Spell Snare, let's look at what we've done to the deck. Alright, what changes were made from the Traverse list? I added a Simic Charm, took out the Disrupting Shoal that would have been here. What else? Mountain replaced a Wooded Foothills. Most lists, I think, play 4 Misty, 4 Scalding Tarn, 1 Foothills for 9 fetches, and then 2 Islands, Forest, Mountain, 2 Steam Vents, Stomping Ground, Breeding Pool for a total of 17 lands. I've been playing 10 fetches with the Mountain in the sideboard for, I think, as long as I've been recording these matches. Even on X-Mage, maybe. So a long time. I figured may as well try the mountain in the main board, see how it goes, maybe not bother having the extra land in the sideboard. Those, I believe, are the only changes to the main deck. Here in the sideboard, we have a Spreading Seas and a Roast, replacing Basic Mountain and Young Pyromancer. So, how are we going to sideboard against basically Blue Moon plus Madcap Experiment as the win con, it looks like? Flash Freeze probably isn't that bad, actually, here. EE seems awful. Destructive Revelry hits Blood Moon, but that's a pain. Sweepers are bad. Don't want to Blood Moon the Blood Moon deck. Roast probably won't hit anything. Pyroclasm, Kozilek's Return, not doing much. Ancient Grudge and Revelry, actually, are more answers to Platinum Empyrean, so those seem pretty good. Rejection technically can counter the Empyrean, but they're probably not going to cast it. So let's board those in. What are we boarding out? A number of Bolt effects, probably. Forked Bolt is slightly better than Lightning Bolt, I'd say, because it can take out Vendilion Click and Snapcaster Mage pretty conveniently, so I think I want to leave that in. Tarfire, we have Goyf, we have Traverse. Don't think I took Tarfire out ever for Chart and Shoal. Doubt I'm going to take it out here. I could see boarding out a non-zero amount of Mandrills to lighten up the graveyard synergies. And perhaps a Thought Scour or two. That seems fine, given that the opponent is probably going to be interacting with us quite a bit. Simic Charm, I want to leave in, because it's one part Bolt effect. Actually, let's drop one more Bolt, bring in one more Scour. Simic Charm is one part Bolt effect, one part answer to Platinum Empyrean if we just need to bounce it and then kill them. So I think I want to leave that in. It also gives Hexproof, which is nice. So every mode on Simic Charm is relevant here. How is this hand? That's probably worth keeping. Land, Serum Visions. And I don't want to say the rest is just gravy, but I mean, it's kind of gravy. Oh, and we hit a Steam Vents? That means we could just slam Delver? How fantastic. Look at us go. Just drawing the right cards. Of course, we don't expect this Delver to survive, but we have to get through their removal somehow. And it looks like they don't have a Bolt yet. Unless they're just looking to Blood Moon us out of the game. Maybe I should consider getting a Forest with that Wooded Foothills. Possibly. We'll see. Depends how it goes. The opponent's got some cantrips. Exciting that they're playing Opt. I was quite happy when this got reprinted. Okay, Serum Visions. I know you're the best cantrip in the format, but there's no need for you to totally hog the spotlight like that. I was pretty excited when this got printed because more cantrips is a good thing in my opinion. Obviously, I play blue and I play Delver, so I'm horribly biased, but I like it. Now, do I care to play around Blood Moon? I guess we have Flash Freeze, but if we want to play around Blood Moon, we're not doing anything else this turn, and that's really disappointing. On the other hand, if we don't play around Blood Moon, it's going to lock us out of the game, so I think we need to. That means we don't get to cast Serum Visions, which is quite disappointing, but, well, if the choice is cast Serum Visions or lose to Blood Moon, lose to Blood Moon or give up the turn. I think I'm going to give up the turn. We're going to let PZ resolve, even though they're probably going to cantrip here, because I don't want to waste Spell Snare on it. Do I want to fetch? Probably. Do I want to play around Blood Moon? Probably not. We'll get a Breeding Pool. Or rather, I don't want to fetch around Blood Moon. We're going to play around Blood Moon to a non-zero degree, and now we can play this, Visions, and hold up Flash Freeze, so that's great. Is the red mana more important than the green mana? Probably to a non-zero extent. I want a Visions before I do anything else because information. I kind of like both of these because we have a Snapcaster Mage in our hand, which means more mana could be a very good thing. On the other hand, we're already at 3 lands. But Flooded Strand also gives us an out to Blood Moon turning off all of these blue cards in our hand. Think we're going to top both of these. Get in for 3. We'll shock, hold up Mana Leak, and Flash Freeze. And this is exactly what we want to be doing, right? Play a threat, and then just answer whatever they do after that. Turn 1 was Delver. Turn 2 was answer their 2-drop? No, it was a 3-drop. Here's a Lightning Bolt. Do I want to counter that? I might want to try. Keeping this Delver alive seems like a very good thing to do right now. Mana Leak can counter Cryptic Command, but Flash Freeze gets around Mana Leak's drawback. I think I'm going to get the Flash Freeze out of my hand. We'll see if they have a counter spell of their own. Well, they didn't. Mountain. And Blood Moon? Blood Moon. Nice, nice. That's good for them. So most of the cards in our hand are now awful. Wonder if I should have kept playing around Blood Moon. Don't really like playing around Blood Moon there. We also now know we're drawing a Thought Scour we can't cast. Madcap Experiment, we can't Mana Leak. Oh, did we pay for it? Weaken Ancient Grudge. Oh yeah! Score. Go to end step. We can blow this up, right? Yeah, we can blow this up. I had to double check if that had Indestructible. Just in case. That would have been a bad time. There's the Thought Scour we didn't want to draw. Unfortunately, we did put it on top. So I guess I kind of deserved that. I'm trying to play a bit faster because it looks like we're going to go to game 3. And I don't like when the opponent has a bunch of time over us. Second Madcap Experiment. Can we top deck Forest? That would just be riveting, right? Simic Charm. Oh, that's gotta hurt. Alright, well, we're not going to attack. Now, if we did decide to just let the Delver die, as it will here, and be able to counter the Blood Moon, we wouldn't have had any threats, which would have been unfortunate. At that point, we probably end up going Snap Serum Visions to dig for more, which puts the shields down anyways. So I'm not really sure how that plays out. If, say, we counter the Blood Moon and then they just draw another one. We're dead here, so we're not going to show them any more cards. They don't need to know we drew a Foothills. Even though it's not relevant to them whatsoever. We're still not going to do it. Alright, game 3 on the play. Are there any changes we want to make? None that I can think of. Let's head to the sideboard. No, I don't think so. Looking at this collection of cards, there's nothing that really jumps out to me besides, say, a Lightning Bolt. But do I really need another Lightning Bolt? Probably not. Dismember can go. I missed that. Submit. Alright, on the play, we're going to do some stuff, hopefully win. Get some mana, cast some spells, see how that goes. Usually that's a good plan. I wonder if we could have played that better playing around Blood Moon. Do we fetch around Blood Moon getting a forest? Probably not, because our hand was full of blue spells. So getting the Breeding Pool seems right to me. Then we top decked a Stomping Ground, cast Serum Visions, held up 2 mana, and went Thought Scour with Flooded Strand on top, with the Scry from the Visions. So then the opponent goes to Bolt Delver. I guess I messed up at least a little bit because I forgot they could play another land for that turn, so I didn't see them having red mana. Which really probably would have made me want to let the Delver die anyways, because that means it's even more likely they can cast another red spell, which is probably a Bolt effect that turn. But if we don't counter the Bolt, Delver dies, we counter Blood Moon, but then we get to draw the Flooded Strand, and that changes things. Once we have Flooded Strand, Blood Moon becomes a lot less scary, but if they go for Blood Moon, we still have to counter it. So then we untap, we have 4 lands because we just drew the Flooded Strand. We fetch, we get a basic island. Our Delver is dead at that point, so do we snap Visions? If we snap Visions, they have plenty of mana to Madcap Experiment, so we probably can't do that either. So we have to wait a turn, do nothing. If they go for something, we counter it because we had Flash Freeze and Mana Leak, so we have at least 1 fetch left. I think we also had Mana Leak. I don't remember now. I think we did, because I countered the Lightning Bolt deciding which to use and went with Flash Freeze. So we still would have had Mana Leak even if we Flash Freeze the Blood Moon. They go for Madcap. We Mana Leak the Madcap, assuming they go for it into open mana. Then after that we draw Thought Scour, and since we have an instant speed cantrip, now we're cooking with gas. 4 lands, we can hold up Snap, Interaction, Thought Scour on the end step, maybe snap Thought Scour afterwards, and start digging for cards. We're going to be on the play, so I think that might have been better. This looks like a fantastic keep. Okay, it's honestly not that good. I still like it, though. Misty probably gets a basic island just because Blood Moon. We're going to start with a tapped Shock land. I actually think it's going to be the Breeding Pool. That way, even if I want to get a basic island with the Misty, Tarmogoyf is fine. We also might not cast the Tarmogoyf because, well, I guess we could have gone Steam Vents Forked Bolt You, but that feels pretty bad. In an attempt to get enough card types in the graveyard for Tarmogoyf to survive Bolt. Because I'm not casting a Tarmogoyf that dies to Bolt against Blue Moon. That seems like a terrible decision. Another Misty. Well, we're going to have whatever colors we like, so that's good. However, we're not playing a threat anytime soon, and that's bad. Hopefully the opponent cantrips here. But it's going to be an instant, which means that's not going to save Goyf from bolts. Wonder if we should have just gone Steam Vents Forked Bolt You. Here we're going to fetch. Get a basic island. Serum Visions. Wouldn't mind getting the forest and going Visions Goyf. I would actually very much enjoy getting the forest and going Visions Goyf. That's going to get us a 2-3. Traverse and Scour. I want both of those, and I want them both very badly. How important's the order? I want to cast Thought Scour, cast Traverse, and cast Mandrills. Think we're going to go with Thought Scour on top. Don't think we want to cast that Traverse until after we cast the Scour to mill ourselves a bit. Even if they take out the Tarmogoyf, we need an instant in the graveyard. So I think I would rather have the Scour first, because that at least gives us the flexibility. Whereas if we take the Thought Scour, now we're stuck. If we take the Traverse, we have a useless Traverse. Whereas if we take the Thought Scour, worst comes to worst. If I change my mind, something comes up, we can Thought Scour. Let's get in for 2. Now I want to hold up Simic Charm here. Don't think I need to shock with the Steam Vents. So let's play that tapped. Go to the opponent. And now we play a bit of the waiting game. We have a lot of threats, very little disruption. Bolt us? Okay. Well, that makes Goyf a 3-4, so I can't complain that much. The opponent has Desolate Lighthouse, which is very good for them. I don't want to Scour because I want to draw that Traverse. Now we're going to scour. Hopefully grow Goyf. We didn't, but we drew Spell Snare, instant sorcery land. Traverse not live yet. Almost makes me want to slam Mandrills. Don't really want to do that without holding up Simic Charm, though. And I don't exactly want to make that Traverse we worked on getting bad. So I might just pass the turn here. Hold up some instants. They're going to loot. I definitely don't like letting the opponent loot. Oh, it's Snap Bolt us? Do we snare that Snapcaster Mage? I might just Forked Bolt it after. But snaring it isn't the worst. It's going to save our life total 5 points, actually. Yeah, I like having 5 extra life. Costs us a Spell Snare. But the opponent's 2 CMC spells are mostly just Disruption. So we're just using Spell Snare to protect our creatures. We're not using it to protect ourselves. Can't Spell Snare a Madcap Experiment or a Blood Moon. There's the Madcap Experiment. That's fine. Now we can cast both halves of Ancient Grudge. Oh, that's even going to put an artifact in their graveyard? That's fantastic. Five, 6 Goyf. Do I want to proactively Simic Charm? Definitely want to get this Mishra's Bauble in the graveyard to see if I want to traverse out a Snapcaster Mage. Maybe. Maybe. I want to do this. Don't really care what we're drawing because I probably traverse it away. That's a Cryptic Command, which means I want to resolve this now. Let's get Snapcaster Mage for the burn spells. Get in for 5. The opponent probably has to Cryptic Command to deal with our Tarmogoyf. And I'm even going to do this. Yes, that's fine. Pay red. Mostly just want to hold up Simic Charm. Don't really need to Snap Bolt just yet. This is going quite splendidly. Do they have an Emrakul? That would suck. So they're bouncing the Tarmogoyf. Note that it says return target permanent. So what we're going to do is give all of our permanents hexproof. And unless they have a colorless counterspell, that Cryptic is fizzling. Poof! Very rare you get to fizzle a Cryptic Command. That's great. Alright. And Goyf gets in for 5. They go down to 2. Snap Bolt, Snap Forked Bolt, if you will. Doesn't matter. 0, -1. It's all the same to me when it's a life total. That'll do for match 1 of this league. And I have to say, I like coming back to Traverse like that. That felt good. That felt very, very good. Traverse is an excellent card. I really like this guy. It's a good thing. It's a very good thing. That dude on his horse in the background of the forest there in the middle. Very hard to see when it's not the big version. Anyways, hopefully you all enjoyed that video. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.